Hi, I'm Heather from Heather Handmade. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a key fob. A key fob is a great way to use a little bit of fabric to make something cute to hook onto your keys. This version, you sew it right onto like a lobster clasp, like this. And it makes it so you can clip it onto anything that you need to clip onto. You can choose a fun fabric. It only uses a little bit, so it's just scraps. I tell you the measurements for how to do it so you can do it on your own. You might have to change the measurements slightly if you are using a bigger lobster clasp, but that's not very hard to do. It's a very fast sewing project because this is small, it's only a couple of seams, but it makes a really fun impact. This key fob is going to make me happy every time I grab my keys and I get to see this beautiful fabric. This key fob sewing project would be great for a gift. It would be great like if you made a couple for like friends, if you wanted to make several. So there's lots of uses for this, and since they're so easy you can make several at one time. I can't wait to teach you how to make this key fob sewing project, so let's get started. For this project, you will need quilting cotton or cotton canvas. You will need like a lobster clasp. This one swivels like this. And then this width, the fabric will be 3/4 inch in the end, but you can get wider or skinnier ones depending on what you want. Since I'm doing this one, which is 3/4 inches across, that will change the width of the fabric that I cut. Then you will also need some fusible fleece. The first thing we're going to do is cut out the fabric and the fusible fleece. So because this is 3/4 inch wide, I'm going to multiply that by 4, which means I'm going to be doing the width of 3 inches, and then I'm going to cut it by 12 inches. That is how I'm going to cut the fabric. So the fabric will be 12 inches by 3 inches, and then the fusible fleece, I don't want it to go all the way across. I only want it to be half, so I'm going to cut the fusible fleece 1.5 inches wide by 12 inches long. Take your fabric and make sure that it's pressed flat. Then we're going to take our fusible fleece and you are going to center it on your fabric and then fuse it in place. Now we are going to fold this like you do with bias binding, where you fold it in half, then you fold the edges in to meet in the center. Once you have this all ironed in place, you're going to fold all the folds, and then you are going to sew along each side 1/8 inch from the edge, and that's going to close this, and it's going to keep the edges nice and crisp. It keeps it strong, and it adds a nice little top stitching look. Once you have the sides sewn, now we are going to put it onto the hook. Now you're going to take your loop. I want this to be the right side or the outside of the loop when I'm done. So if you fold it this way, this is how it's going to look when it's done. I want these blue flowers to be out. Then I slide my clasp on so that when this is outside, then the clasp is on the outside. But then I'm going to actually fold it the other way with right sides together because I'm going to sew this seam, but then this clasp is on the inside. So you're going to sew these two ends together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and make sure you backstitch when you start and when you stop. Make sure that the clasp is on the inside. Now, once you have sewn that, you're going to turn it right side out. The clasp is on the outside now. So slide this down to like this seam. We want this to be right here, and what you're going to do, you're going to fold this around this seam allowance and the edge of the clasp. We are going to sew along here, so it's about maybe 3/8 inch to 1/2 inch in. You can't be too close to the metal or you'll break your own needle, and you don't want to be sewing through all of those layers because it's just so thick. Make sure that these edges and these edges line up really well so that it looks nice. You don't want it to be off-centered like this. You want it to be really lined up. And maybe sew back and forth a couple of times to make that really strong so that it will stay in place. Once you have this sewn, the key fob is now done. You have the nice, beautiful fabric, and it slips right onto your wrist. And you have the clasp that you can hook onto anything you need to hook it onto, which I'm going to be hooking it onto my keys. And that's how you make a key fob sewing project. I can't wait to see all of the key fobs that you make. Please share them with me on social media. Check out these playlists with beginner sewing projects and scrap fabric sewing projects. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.